20 million disenfranchised Sunni that happen to reside between Damascus and Baghdad.
And that requires airstrikes?
It requires a variety of instruments, only one small part of which is airstrikes. I'm not predicting those will occur in Syria, at least not by the United States of America, but it requires the application of all of the tools of national power: diplomatic, economic, information, military.
Now, all of these conversations, this analysis, follows the beheading this week of American journalist James Foley, an act ISIS meant as a warning, really, for the U.S. military to get out of Iraq. A manhunt is now underway for Foley's executioner.
And we're learning more about the daring attempt to save Foley and others from inside Syria. Barbara Starr has the story.
It was July 4th weekend, a daring nighttime raid just outside the city of Raqqa in northern Syria, a stronghold of ISIS. U.S. Special Forces were sent into danger because the intelligence showed the target was a likely location where the hostages were being held, a senior U.S. official tells CNN. But it was not certain. The intelligence failed.
Intelligence doesn't come wrapped in a package with a bow. It is a mosaic of many pictures, of many factors.
The mission was unprecedented.
In a situation where you're going into a country which is fraught with danger, which is potentially going into a city that's controlled by a nefarious and horrific force like ISIS, the risk levels go up considerably.
It began under cover of darkness. Several dozen elite commandos from units like Army Delta Force and the Navy SEAL Team 6 landed in specially equipped radar-evading helicopters. They quickly made their way to a building where they were told James Foley and other American hostages were being held. No one was there. A firefight broke out with nearby militants. Several of those militants were killed. The U.S. team got back to their helicopters and left. The operation, including the helicopters, similar to the raid that killed Osama bin Laden. Fighter jets patrolled overhead, Syrian radars were jammed, team members moved to block nearby access roads. The entire mission lasted about 2 hours. Now, questions about whether the lives of the other hostages are at risk from the administration's revelations.
It's the responsibility of our government and our leaders to do all we can to take action when we believe there might be a good possibility, a good chance to make a rescue effort successful.
One former Navy SEAL says you cannot underestimate the risk now posed by going public.
It's highly unusual because it compromises our capability to do this again and to do it successfully. It makes it that much harder.
U.S. officials say the administration is looking at a number of ideas on how to deal with ISIS, including stepped-up airstrikes in Iraq and even the possibility of some limited airstrikes against ISIS positions inside Syria. But they emphasize all of this is just an idea. No decisions have been made. Barbara Starr, CNN, the Pentagon.
Let's talk more about James Foley's kidnapping and the potential ransom, I guess, that was suggested by ISIS. The news website Global Post has published what it says is the last email ISIS sent to the family of the late James Foley.
And we have that email. We have a copy of that email. The email from ISIS reportedly was sent 1 week prior to the terror group's release of a gruesome video showing the American hostage being beheaded. The alleged ISIS email ends with these words directed to the U.S. I'm going to read it out. You and your citizens will pay the price of your bombings, ! The first of which being the blood of the American citizen, James Foley, another ! He will be executed as a direct result of your transgressions towards us.
Now, Global Post says before Foley was killed, militants had demanded a ransom, and it's a staggering number of $132 million that was actually never paid. You see, the U.S. historically doesn't make concessions to terrorists, even though many European countries actually have paid ransoms.
Well, CNN's Ashley Banfield spoke with French journalist Nicolas Henin, who was held hostage with Foley until Henin's release in April.
Do the captives, you yourself,